There are easily tens of thousands of live secrets in pull requests and issue comments and descriptions.
Uber just revealed it was hit with a massive data breach more than a year ago.
Biden's verified Twitter account and those of many other famous people were compromised by hackers.
The Secret Service is investigating a major data breach at Target.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto 2nd Street.
In a lot of ways, GitHub brought coding and open source to a whole generation of developers, myself included. But as transformational as that was, it didn't come without some security issues. There are 1,800 live secrets leaked to GitHub every single day from code pushes. And we've been maintaining a popular open source tool called TruffleHog to help you find all of those secrets. But one thing we haven't been paying attention to until recently is just how many secrets were making their way into pull requests and issue comments and descriptions. Just recently though, we open sourced a new feature of TruffleHog that allows you to scan the pull requests and the issues looking for those secrets. And almost immediately we found live secrets in some of the largest companies in the world, and these are companies that have mature security programs. So we have a reasonable suspicion that this is the first time that anybody's ever looked through issues and pull requests for secrets. Let me show you what I'm talking about. As of the releasing of this video, you can now use TruffleHog to scan GitHub issues and comments for passwords and API keys. And as far as I know, this is the only tool in the world that'll allow you to do that. Now, every password or API key that I'm talking about in this video was actually validated by TruffleHog by logging in with it to confirm that it's still active. So what did we learn from finding thousands of live API keys and passwords in pull request and issue comments?
Kind of what we expected, but we didn't really know to what extent. To me, the coolest component of this is it's a very different behavior than like accidentally committing a secret to Git and then pushing to GitHub.
Well, funny enough, some of these were actually leaked out by bot accounts, like Automation opening up comments and posting various build logs and things like that. But the vast majority of the keys that were leaked out were actually published by humans. Some of them look like they might have been mistakes, like you share a giant snippet with somebody and buried in that snippet is a password that you forgot about. But a huge number of these were actually shared intentionally. Like you're trying to troubleshoot some issue with somebody in a GitHub issue, and the user felt the best way to do that was to share their credentials with the person they were troubleshooting with.
A lot of folks knowingly added their secret into just a public comment, and I think a lot of it boiled down to folks looking for support, and they were using the issue comments, and they'd be like, hey, this is what I'm doing, it's not working, and they would just like drop their key in the text box.
And between issues and pull requests, we found 10 times more secrets in the issues than we did in the pull requests. But that also comes with a caveat that in general, there are just more issues than pull requests in a given repository. Anecdotally, I'd say a developer's first instinct is just to take the key down, not to actually revoke it. And we saw that in the data set.
We did see many cases of either the commenter or the repo owner editing a comment, thinking that they removed the key, which they did, but they left the original message in the basically like a edited version. There's a drop down, you could see previous versions.
Now, GitHub comments aren't the only thing with a revision history. Like GitHub code also has a revision history, and so do wikis and a whole bunch of other things that can have secrets buried in the old versions. But one of the weird things that we were finding is sometimes repos can be permissioned in a way where you actually can't delete your comment. You can only edit it, and you can't actually remove the original. Okay, so we broke down, as it relates to the repository, who was actually leaking the secrets out. And as it turns out, most of the time, it was just users of the open source. They had no other affiliation. They weren't members or maintainers or contributors. One of the other interesting ethical questions is if you're a large company and you maintain a bunch of open source repos and then users of your open source post secrets to that open source, is it your responsibility to clean those up?
If I have a repository and you leak a secret of your own in my repository, does it affect me? Not really. Maybe if I'm a SaaS provider and you're using my services, it's maybe not a good look. But again, it was your mistake.
Many of the secrets that we found were in some of the largest companies in the world's open source code repositories, but the secrets themselves belonged to people that had no affiliation with the repositories. There were a number of instances where a user of an open source project created an issue, a developer on that project told them to take the secret out of their issue, and they just edited it. You could still see that secret there, and it was still live in a lot of cases. They thought it was good enough, that it was just hard enough to find because it was buried in an old version. I think this is a tempting option for developers because often it's a pain in the butt to actually rotate these secrets out. So that's why about a week ago, we launched a new series called howtorotate.com that's just step-by-step guides for how to rotate some of the more common secret types, and we'll be adding guides over time. But anyways, right now it's kind of a show. There's a ton of issues and comments in pull requests and in issues, and while we tried to do responsible disclosure as well we could, the reality is the vast majority of users just ignored us.
So the vast majority never respond. So that is slightly discouraging, but that's just the nature of it. It's understandable. For those that do respond, like I would say probably half are generally receptive and positive. And then there's another chunk of folks that just think it's like for publicity or marketing, think that we're not telling the truth, don't understand, yell at us for some other reason. There's just some negative energy coming from another crop of folks. And again, I understand all of it. You have this random email or message telling you that you might have done something wrong, and you're, as a human, you initially want to just like defend your actions. It makes sense, human nature. And a lot of folks don't even understand what a leaked key is to begin with too. So a lot of it's education issues and awareness, but we're still going to continue doing disclosures, because even if we get a couple keys off of the internet, then that's helpful for the community and for those individuals.
Anyway, this is wild stuff. They're literally scattered all over GitHub, and you can find them trivially now with Trufflehog. So go ahead and play around with it and let us know what you find.